just waiting for you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Season 3 of the Brooklyn Fishing Club podcast. My name is Victor Lucia, founder and president of the Brooklyn Fishing Club. You can learn more about our club at brooklynfishingclub.com and be sure to follow us on Instagram at Brooklyn Fishing Club. On this episode, we're joined by Nick Honachefsky, an East Coast legend. He's been fishing and writing about it for over 20 years, traveling the world and catching countless trophy fish. Hey, Nick, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, what's up, Victor? How you doing?
Doing pretty good over here. How about you?
I'm just getting prepped. I'm going to do a little fishing down at Island Beach. My nephew's coming into town, so getting ready to see what we can catch from the surf, and just getting rigged up while you called.
What are you going for mainly?
I'll probably get them into we're getting like cocktail blues, like 2 to 3 pound bluefish right now. There's been some big old rays around. Like I took this one guy out last week who caught a huge bullnosed ray, like 70 pounds from the surf. So there's been the bullnosed rays, catnosed rays, the southern stingrays, little bits of bluefish and fluke too. So I can get him into anything. He's 8 years old, so he's stoked with any bent rod,
Yeah, as am I still at my undisclosed age. But let's take it back to to where it all started for you. What's your most memorable catch from your childhood?
Well, I mean, obviously a million of them, but I guess where it started with me was I grew up in Hunter County in Clinton, New Jersey. So even though I've lived at the beach for 23 years, I was 6, and it's funny, like my first catch I ever caught was a rainbow trout when I was 4 years old. And my father would take my brother and I out fishing all the time. My dad's like the constant fishing and hunting. And he's who got me into fishing, and that little rainbow trout still hangs, or the picture of it still hangs on the wall at my parents' place in Hunter County. And that's what got me hooked. I mean, flat out,
What did you catch it on?
Back then, probably just garden worms or something.
Yeah. But that was it, huh? After that?
That's it.
After that, it was a wrap.
Probably 95% of the fishing I do nowadays is saltwater related, just because it's kind of my dynamic and who I'm writing for mostly. And my first real saltwater trips on my dad, just like I mentioned before, Island Beach State Park, and that was when we were like, 5. Well, I would say 6, 7 years old, and my mom, back in I don't know if they still do this stuff nowadays, but they used to write you sick notes, like if you were sick and your mom or dad would write you a sick note and you'd go out of school. But my mom used to write us sick notes, and my dad would take us out to Island Beach to go fishing, and we would catch stripers and blues, while everyone's in class doing multiplication or whatever. We were catching bass and blues in like 4th, 5th grade, and that's really what kind of hooked me into saltwater.
So you would come back to class the next day just all tan and shit?
Yeah. And he still had to make a little bit of a cough to really sell it, He'd come into school and be like, oh, man, just getting over this tough one,
Yeah, it's been a rough week, for sure.
You don't want to sell it to your parents,
Yeah, I feel that. I used to have to get the doctor's notes. I think my senior year, I might have had something like 40 to 50 doctor's notes written, to the point where they were like, you might not be allowed to graduate, but it was a family friend doctor and they couldn't say shit about it, so here I am.
Isn't it funny how many doctor's notes you get after you get your driver's license?
yeah, so here I am with my high school diploma, doing all right.
Too many fishing trips.
Doing my fishing trips. So I heard you did you or did you not set the Bergal record?
Oh God, this is
AKA the Cunner.
It's the greatest story ever told, and probably never told after this. But so for no one goes out and targets Bergal. It's not something you go out and you say you're going to do. So we're out on the Dauntless, and I always fish on the Dauntless when I go bottom fishing out of Point Pleasant. back in the days, we'd go ling fishing all the time, and we'd get the crew together, do a King of the Ling tournament, where it gave us an excuse to get together in the wintertime, when there's not much fishing around. So on one of the King of Ling tournaments, I'm dropping down. I probably already had 2 to 3 pound blackfish, a couple of them come up, drop down with, just clam baits on the bottom for ling. And I'm reeling this fish in. I swing it over the rail, and Captain Butchie Eggeter is on the helm, and he looks down, and he's like, dude, that's a freaking burgal. And I look down, and I'm like, shit, man, that's a fucking big burgal. So we all start laughing. We're like, hey, burgal. And everyone around the boat's like, that's a state record, man. You got to weigh that in. I'm like, I'm not fucking weighing in a burgal. But just to keep everybody on deck, I call my buddy Sean Riley, and he's at work sitting down, and I'm like, hey, dude, I was like, how big's the biggest burgal? I can't really, this is before, I think iPhones were around, so I couldn't even, look something up on an iPhone. It was one of those flip phone days, so I couldn't even, check anything out on your own. I call Sean, and yeah, the state record's 1 pound, 3 ounces. I go, dude, I got that beat, man. I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, this thing's huge. I go, what's the world record? He's like, 2 pounds, 3 ounces. I go, dude, I think I got to run for the money here. So, long story short, we're steaming on in, right? Going, back to dock. And the boat usually gets in at 4:30, and tackle shops usually close around 4 o'clock in the wintertime. They're not really doing much. So I call ahead of Fisherman's Supply at Brian. I'm like, man, keep the scales open, brother. And he's like, what's up? I'm like, oh, I got a potential world record fish coming in, man. You're going to dig this. And he's like, yeah. He's like, what is it? I'm like, burgal. He's like, fuck you. I'm keeping the scales. Burgal. I'm like, no, man, you gotta keep it open. So we get to dock. I run off the Dauntless, and I'm dragging the cooler over to Fisherman's Supply there in Point Pleasant. And as I'm going through the parking lot, there's Captain Kenny on the Mimi, another prominent bottom fishing boat by us in Point Pleasant. And he's packing out with his slicks and everything, and you can tell he's got porgy guts all over him, and he's just had a hard day. And I'm running over the cooler. He's like, yo, Nick. He goes, what do you got? I'm like, world record. He goes, what is it? And I'm like, burgal. And he gave me this look, this dejected look, and he threw his hand at me as if I had to stop him after he just spent a hard day at sea, and I had to tell him, oh yeah, I'm weighing in a burgal. So he was disgusted with me, So funny thing is, I go into Fisherman's Supply. So I bring it to the scale. We put it on the scale, Fisherman's Supply, and it pegs it down to 2 pounds, 9 ounces, which was 6 ounces more than the previous record. And the funny thing is, with the Brooklyn area, readership that you guys have, Al Ristori had the previous record for the burgal, and this is where the story starts getting really funny. So Al Ristori, I call him immediately. I'm really good friends with Al for a long time. I'm like, hey, Al, man. I was like, watch out, your trash fish belt is being taken. He's like, what happened? I was like, I just caught a burgal, 2 pounds, 9 ounces. He's like, oh my God. And he wrote in the Star Ledger the next day, he goes, his headline was, finally, someone who has lower standards than me. Right? That was the headline. And he goes, Nick Honachefsky claimed my trash fish king belt that I had by beating my burgal record. He's like, but I still have a common skate and a Grenard or something,
He just had to take a little shot at you there.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun, but still, that's so funny, sure, man. That's hysterical. Oh my God.
So get this. The funny is, right? Since it was a certified, since it was by weight a world record. First of all, I had the state record totally claimed, blew it out of the water. But world record I have now, right? So I don't know if any of you people who follow, the Brooklyn Club, know that when you do an IGFA record, there's a lot of paperwork you got to fill out, right?
Yeah.
So I get the paperwork for IGFA, and normally if you're doing an all tackle world record, it's what was the fish? 1,100 pound blue marlin. What pound test? 130 pound test. length of fight 4.5 hours, right? In 7-foot seas. So they're like, I'm filling out the paperwork species. I'm like, AKA burgal. They're like, weight 2 pounds 9 ounces, and they're like, pound test. I'm like, 65 pound braided line, and then it's length of fight. I go approximately 24 seconds. It's like you got these guys catching 2,000 pound marlin with 7-hour fights and 20-foot seas. And I gotta fill all that paperwork out. So it was just really funny. The whole story of it. Oh, and if I may say this. So all my boys are like, you got to get that thing mounted. I'm like, oh, am I going to get a fucking Bergall mount? So I contacted Coastal Mounts, and
You
the
didn't
guy's
even
like,
want to
I don't,
weigh it, let alone mount it.
no, I got to get it mounted, right? So the guy at Coastal Mounts, he goes, you think I got a Bergall mold? He goes, I don't got a Bergall mold. I was like, all right, I'll bring it over to you. So by hook and crook, after like 3 months, I sent it to him, and he came up with a brand new Bergall mold, and I had that Bergall mounted, and it was such a beautiful mount. I mean, like sitting there, it was 16 and a half inches long. I had a 11 and a half inch grip, and he really did the mount up right. But the story still doesn't end there. So Superstorm Sandy wiped me off the freaking map. Like, I lost everything. I lost my house, my home, all my fishing gear. I lost everything and anything, including that Bergall mount, right?
Oh.
So a couple years go by, and this is 3 years ago. I'm at the Philadelphia fishing show. Buddy Lloyd Walters from Anglers Nation always knew my story, and with the Bergall, and that I lost everything, obviously, in Sandy. And he's like, just meet me before the show, a half hour on Friday. I got something for you. And I'm like, all right. So as I meet him in the morning, he's walking towards me, and I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, what the fuck is this? He contacted Coastal Mounts and got the same exact replica Bergall mount for me, and he did it just as a brother. It was so cool.
What a OG.
So, yeah, that's straight. It's sitting on my my work desk right now.
I thought it was about to
But,
get even crazier and be like he saw it wash up on the shore while he was surf casting and like found it. Like,
that's legendary.
somebody might have found it. Who knows? Maybe somebody will pick it up one day, flounder fishing or porgy fishing, and be like, "Holy shit, a Bergall mount! Like mount? Like who would do such a thing?"
I know.
That's crazy, man. So I talked to Al before. Because I've wanted to interview you for a while. I know you're a legend. Everybody knows your name. You've really put in the work, and not only are you a legendary writer, but according to Al, you're one of the most passionate anglers he's ever met. So he told me to ask you about the last minute trip in Florida with the snook and the storms.
Oh my gosh, man! Absolutely. First of all, when I was editor at Saltwater Sportsman magazine, I was living down in Florida at the time. And so here's how, obviously we're talking about crazy Alberto Nee here. And anyone who's ever met Alberto knows why he earned the nickname Crazy. It's not because it's like, hey, he's funny, he's crazy. He's so dedicated to the art and the passion and the sport and the livelihood of fishing that I've never met anybody like that. That's number one.
It's unbelievable. It's
right.
It's like it's unrivaled. Yeah, I fished with him many times. He is just, in my opinion, he's the greatest all around angler on the planet. You put that guy in front of a puddle, and he'll catch you something out of it.
Hands down, no doubt about it. I mean, that's how, when you talk about a guy who puts in the time, he, that's what he does. It's like, first of all, I'll back it up to the trip that we did. Me and him were up for about 43 hours straight, and that's no joke,
Yeah, I was up with him for 56. I got you beat.
Well, that's because I had to go back to work. Man,
yeah, I did too. Except I called out sick. I had a real bad flu that day. Stomach was acting up. Some bad tacos or something.
That's the same doctor writing a sick note that did it in your high school days.
Yeah, Alberto wrote my sick note for me, and my boss accepted it.
Exactly. Yeah, man. So anyway, he picks me. A Jeep was broken down, and he's coming from West Coast Florida, comes all the way to Orlando to pick me up. And then we go to a spot, it's another 3 hours away from Orlando that we wanted to go fish. So long story short, he wants to know, well, he had this bite dialed in. It was obviously like he does, he puts in his groundwork, but this was a nasty, it was on the heels of a tropical storm. It was like a southeast wind coming in. But I'm telling you, it was like 40, 45 knots, maybe even 50 gusts up to. And we're fishing this wind, punching through like these 1.5 ounce bucktails. And
what?
Damn if I'm not telling you, like 11 rods punching through. Damn if I don't tell you, man, that these snook were so pinned up where we were that it was one cast after another. Boom, boom, boom. Now I'm telling you, this is no BS whatsoever. So this is no BS whatsoever. We had all the snook penned up that night, and we had them cast after cast on the bucktails. The smallest fish we had were between like 12 and 15 pounds. And the largest one that I reeled in, that I caught and hooked, was Alberto's second largest snook that he ever took anyone to get on. And it was 46 inches long, 46, 48 inches. I forget the exact length because we didn't weigh it or anything like that. We just got it right back in the water.
Yeah.
But he was saying, I forget what we did with the calculations, but it was the second biggest snook that he's ever put anybody on. And those snook were just like gobbling down these like bucktails. Every time we casted them out there in this super snot, white froth caps and everything. But that story actually gets funny because Alberto was, while I'm catching those snook, Alberto's out there because he sees all these huge tarpon, like 175, 200 pound, like lifetime tarpon, right? Those size fish are jumping around. So as I'm bailing snook, I hear him, and I just hear him go, "Oh man, I'm hooked." And all of a sudden, I see this thing come out of the water, and I'm telling you, it was the size of like a 18-foot Grady White, just like coming straight out of the water, dude. It was so big and silver. And him and I looked at each other, and he's holding on. He's using like a 12, 13-foot rod, like a 20,000 class reel, and it's just singing, right? It's zoom. He's like, he's gone. I can't stop him. And he's yelling at me, and it's raining, by the way, at this time too. So it's like storming. I hear him. It's like, he's like, still going. And I'm like, did you stop me? He's like, he's like, still going. He goes, oh shit. He's like, I ain't gonna be able to stop him. And after like maybe 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, and it just goes, just fucking gone. Just like couldn't even hold on to it. Like, I mean, not couldn't hold on to it. There was no more line left. Just completely spooled him with a 20,000 class reel, probably 65-pound braid. But we got to see this fish, and it was the biggest tarpon by far I've ever seen in my life. And he's so, I don't know, you know, obviously you fished it out. Like,
Yeah,
he's the kindest and most gentlest soul.
Pissed.
But, yeah, so he's walking back. And as he's walking back, and I know he was so bent because he's just like, he's got his head down, and he smacks his rod, and he's walking back to his car to re-spool up his new line.
Yeah, he had the head. He had the head down with the hat over the face look.
You know it. You know the look.
Yeah.
Right? And he's shaking his head, and as he's walking away, I'm like, another cast with my bucktail, boom, another like 20-pound snook. I go, yo, I'm hooked up. And he goes, you know, he just turns around without like even missing a step. He holds his hand way in there. He goes, don't fucking tell me about it. He's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And I'm like, and I started cracking up, laughing my ass off as I'm reeling in the snook, you know. But he got his revenge. He caught so many snook that night, and like we had bull red drum and like so many fish, man. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah, he definitely has some very special places to fish. Like, just,
yeah, he puts in the work, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's told me he's sat down and, you know, just sat there without fishing and watched, you know, 2 full tides pass just to see what the water does, and then he'll go fish it.
That's
henceforth the crazy nickname. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about your career while we still have some time. Like, you know, what are some of the biggest sacrifices you've had to make to get, you know, to legend status?
Not necessarily legend status, but
come on, man. Just accept it.
I put in my time, like any hardcore fisherman, and you know, for me, it's not like I ever really had to give anything up. I mean, the only thing I guess I could say I had to give up was working a 9-to-5 job, which is what I never wanted to do in my entire life. So,
damn, man, don't you wish you could go back and do it all over again and work the 9-to-5?
I wouldn't change a fucking thing, dude. I'll tell you what. Everyone asks, like, what do you regret in life? I wouldn't change a thing, man. It's
That's awesome.
I know that, you know, I got out of, you know, I went to Villanova University. I had like a marketing business degree. I could have gotten a job on like Wall Street, and I was like, F that, man. I'm not doing any of that shit. And, you know, I worked from the ground up. And believe me, I'm not a rich kid, man. I grew up very humble with a blue collar family, and like I didn't buy my way in it, doing my living. I just knew that I said I'll sacrifice the money, and I'll sacrifice, like, maybe, me. I'm saying this, maybe getting married to just like do what I want to do, and I've, but now I'm happily married now for the last 2 years, and I love my wife Emily, and everything's just
God
perfect,
bless Emily. Cheers to
Yeah,
Emily.
she loves fishing too,
That's great, man. That's great.
Yeah, but
So
it's yeah.
let me ask you
Ahead.
something else. Without naming any names, you have any rivals?
No, but I don't rival. Like I don't play rival games. I don't play the any games like that. I fish for Nick Honachefsky, and I love taking people fishing. I am the furthest thing from competition you ever want to see.
That was
I'm the
that.
furthest thing
Yeah.
from anything like that. I don't showboat. I don't like if I'm showing a picture of a fish because I want to inspire other people. It's not for the sake.
Yes.
Dude, I held the world record regal. What kind of?
Listen, after that, nobody can really touch you. After that, it's like you're just
exactly.
you're untouchable. No, but
Exactly.
I was hoping and betting that you would say that, because I feel the same way. It's like the only person, it's become such a competitive sport, lately with Instagram and all social media and everything. So that kind of leads me to my next question, which is, if you could give any advice to the youngsters trying to make a living off of fishing, what would it be?
Well, don't get into the writing industry. That's number one. That's all I've ever done. I say that in jest, but it's tough to make a living in the industry. I'll tell you that right now. And like I said, backtracking, I gave up a lot of opportunities, like to become like, have a regular job with a really nice steady salary. Like all the writing I've ever done in my life is because I built on it. Now I can build a life through it and build a career through it only because I put in the time. But I can't tell you how hard it was to start it up. And this was when the publishing industry was, pretty prime before 2008. But my advice would be for any like the Instagrammers or YouTubers, if if you're happy with product and stuff, that's great. You can probably, get product sponsors, which is cool. I think that's awesome. To get on, get in with the right people giving you product sponsorships. But as for getting paid, unless you're in-house, like if you want to work at one of the big magazines, and they're owned by corporations, so you would probably have a 9-to-5 job to do something like that, or do like an ad sales job. That's another way to get into it for one of the mags. But I don't know, just keep at it. I mean, it's a passion. I wouldn't deter you from making a living out of it. There's plenty of avenues. Like you can work at tackle shops, on boats, become a charter captain. There's plenty of opportunity in the recreational fishing industry to do it. On the media side, it's so saturated right now that it's tough to open up purse strings of anybody. And that's just being straight blunt to anybody.
How about all these fishing apparel brands? Like two new ones pop up every night. I swear to God.
Apparel's easy to get,
Yeah, but I mean, these brands have no why. There's no reason for them to exist, and it's part of the golden circle. Like if you don't have a why at the center of your how and what, then what the fuck are you selling? And that's why I look at these, like I'll see all these apparel brands start following me. They got a few pictures, and it's like, yeah, all right, cool. What are you all about? I like to fish. Cool. So does everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It drives me crazy, but
I guess it's like differentiation. I don't know.
You have to differentiate. Like that's why BFC only puts out limited edition shit for the most part. Like and don't you have something going on too? Saltwater Underground?
Yeah, it's a nice segue, sweet dude. Saltwater Underground's a show that I partnered up with originally, and still it airs on Tackle Direct, but it's saltwaterunderground.com, and it's a kind of like it's we shoot with 2 red cameras. I got like the Primo production company, and we're looking to get on Discovery Channel this year, coming up for Q2 next year. But Saltwater Underground, you mentioned like T-shirts and hats. All I have is one t-shirt design and a beanie hat, and
Well,
for
shit,
people
you
that,
might have to
yeah.
hire me so I could take over the apparel line for that, man. I'll blow it up.
That's it. Well,
I
we'll
got
partner up
all.
on
I'm
something.
obsessed with fish art, so I know every
Yeah.
dope fishing artist on the planet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Every single one. But I mean, we could talk about this later. I'm not sure the listeners
Yeah.
want to hear us talk about
Yeah,
this.
no, that's cool. I'm all for that for
But,
sure. Especially you're a local boy up here.
And believe it or not, listeners might be shocked and they might hate on me, but I'm a Jersey boy too.
Nice.
Yeah,
From where?
I grew up fishing Lavalette, Teaneck, New Jersey.
No shit. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I grew up fishing Lavalette. Island Beach State Park, like you mentioned, is one of the few places I've consistently caught keeper bass off of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I fish Rockaway religiously, and it's really tough to get a keeper bass. I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I spent years wading, in all the jetties from Jacob Reese all the way to Breezy Point, hitting all the pockets. Never got anything, over 21, 22 inches in terms of bass. But Island Beach is a special place, man. It is a sanctuary. That place is unbelievable.
That's a fact.
We shouldn't even talk about it too much. I don't even want that.
Yeah, they limit the amount of people in there too, especially in the summer. But I mean, it's not too big of a secret. Island Beach. I mean,
no, it's not. You just have to know the pockets and put in the time reading the water. I mean, I used to drive down there from Brooklyn and sleep in my truck and just read the water, try to find the soft structure, and that's where I would get the keeper bass.
Yeah, back in you're saying Lavalette. That's where I actually live now. And
that's awesome. What's you can't? I mean, we could bleep out the street.
Well, no, it's funny. I'm right on. I have an office right next to the Crab's Claw. If any of your listeners ever go to Lavalette,
that's where I took my my wife on her first birthday date. Was a Crab's Claw. I've been going to the Crab's Claw since I was born, dude.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Is that place that opened? Remember where TP Subs used to be?
Yeah, Ohana Grill it is now.
It's still there, Ohana?
Yeah, Ohana Grill, overpriced in small portions.
It's overpriced, but the food is good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The seared tuna that I had there was banging. They got to be making a killing though, but you got to in that area because it's all seasonal and it's tough.
You want to laugh too? Is that not laugh, but they right next to the Crab's Claw, I have my sign now. I put out a saltwater underground surf fishing charter. It's Nick Honachefsky out there. So anyone wants to surf fish the local area, they can always just come down or contact me through saltwaterunderground.com or whatever, and show you the ropes down our way on the Barrier Island.
Let's do it, dude. I'm even down to I have my own production team with BFC, so we could come down. We could let's shoot a commercial for Saltwater Underground, and we'll do we'll do a BFC Saltwater Underground collab. I've got some ideas. I've definitely got some ideas. So let me ask you another question. What's the sketchiest situation you've ever gotten into on the water?
I mean, that could go a bunch of different ways, I guess. Sketchiest. I remember the first time I got busted fishing, which is we used to sneak in this place called the Dam, and it was in Spruce Run Reservoir, and I was so funny. I was probably about 7, 8 years old, and I was with my we were probably about 8 or 9 years old. My cousin Tommy was 11, and we cut it through a fence. This is in Spruce Run Reservoir in Hunterdon County, and we went in there because you couldn't get into this place. It was sectioned off it was the over spillway from Spruce Run Reservoir, but all these huge fish used to be in there. So we cut through the fence, we got in there, and damned if we didn't catch the biggest pike and largemouth bass and 20-pound carp, stuff you never see. And I'll never forget walking out of there with these fish, and we're walking down one of the streets in Clinton, and everyone's honking their horns and stuff, and we're so jazzed up, because we just broke the law. And you'd always have to hide from the security guards. They'd be up on the perch, and they drive their old Dodge Ram Chargers, and they'd be like spotlighting you at night if you had like,
You have to duck behind the trees and shit.
Oh yeah, no, you have to lay low. We wear camo, we face paint and all that, and and I'll never forget coming out of there one day.
Straight up Rambo mission.
You had to, because the security guard was like the bane of our existence when we were kids, because he patrolled the one spot where all the monster mega fish were, and
he was probably fishing there himself.
Yeah, for shit, man, I would be too if I was him, But I remember walking down the street, and as we're like walking by, we're walking back to my house, which is like 3 miles away. My grandmother comes down because we told her we would only be like right behind the house fishing, but we walked 3 miles to go sneak into the spot. And as everyone's like tooting their horn and like, hooting and hollering, cheering us on, we see my grandmother, and she's an old Polish grandma, and she's like holding her fist up, giving us like the "you sons of bitches"
death stare.
And she's we were like, "Botch, sorry." We call her Botch. We were like, "Botch, sorry." She goes, "Just throw the fish in the trunk. Your parents are gonna kill you." It was worth it. But out of all the like getting kicked out of places for doing illegal stuff, that's the one that stung the most when your grandma gets you.
Yeah, especially when she's probably, I mean, I don't know. My grandma always supported the fishing thing, but
for sure,
if I did something wrong, she was not with it. But
yeah, because she lost her 3 grandsons. They were supposed to be down right at the end of the lane, and we were 3 miles away. That's why she was pissed.
Oh, that's why she was pissed. I thought she was pissed because you came home with some fish from a spot you shouldn't have been fishing. I was confused.
She's the one that filleted them. So,
legend.
She thought she just lost us, So
yeah. Well, I mean, that's what happens with fishing. You just get drawn to the water, and you go further and further, and push it and push it.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, you're in the lake. You're like, fuck. 2 weeks later, you're in the fucking lake again. I mean, I push it to the limit too, man. I think we need to fish together soon because.
There's no doubt about that, brother. That's gonna be fun.
Whenever you want to go, I finally got a car, so
we'll be in touch. There's no doubt about that.
Definitely. So, what do you think the best decision of your career has been to date?
Well, truthfully, I mean, career-wise, I think one of the best decisions is when I took the managing editor position at Saltwater Sportsman, just because it opened up a whole bunch of different angles for me.
You took it or you earned it?
Well, I guess I earned it because they hired me.
Exactly.
That was back in 2010. That was a while ago still, But thank you for that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I did earn it. You're right. But I just put in the time, and I was the right fit for the job there. And I met so many great people. I mean, I was already traveling before that, but, I was right, kind of the last heydays of the real publications and stuff, and I don't know, met a ton of great people, and still have those guys, all those connections and contacts, and, guys and girls and everybody I met through there. So it was a smart decision. I'm glad I did it,
And you're still building to this day, right? Like I just saw something on Lance Thomas's thing. You interviewed him. He's a OG.
Oh, yeah.
Slang. Shout out to Slang Magic.
Oh, Slang Magic's awesome. I don't know if you've ever had him on the show yet, but he's awesome.
No, he's down to get on the show. I got invited to his Halloween party, which was wild.
Awesome.
It was fucking crazy. But
did you go to it? Or
I went to it. No, I was like, I got shit to do. No, of course I went to it.
I was out of town, and I was so pissed, dude.
Dude, you would have been there?
Yeah.
I didn't even have a costume. I just put on my Grundens and took a broken fishing pole. I was like, I'm a fisherman.
Yeah, Lance is doing great things for the sport, man.
He is, man.
With his platform and everything.
Absolutely.
He's a true fisherman and a true gentleman too. He's not like he has no ego whatsoever.
He's another Jersey boy.
Yeah, that's right. He's like West Orange or East Orange or something.
Yeah,
I forget.
So
yeah, he's awesome.
Now that I asked you about the best decision, what do you think the worst decision of your career has been?
Shit, I don't know about that. Worst decision in my career, probably to brag that I'm the world record Bergall holder. I guess I get so much shit.
No, for real. Like, did you ever pass on a deal where you're like, shit, I could have made some money off that, or not submit an article in time
decision.
like I just did with On the Water, and I'm not going to be published for this September, October.
No, it's funny, you know, like I'm always forgotten my deadline.
Shout out to Jimmy Fee.
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Sorry
I didn't get it in on time, bro. Hope you got someone good to write it.
He knows my shit's tight, dude. That's the thing is being on both sides of being a freelancer and an editor. Like I always am on time with my stuff. That's what I take seriously, you know. So
I know
I
try
know that
to
I have to be on time and get it done. But
you've got like multiple, outlets that you're writing for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
much,
I have no excuse. I'm just writing for On the Water, New York
right.
Metro Report or whatever, and I couldn't get in this week, Jimmy. I'm sorry. I was moving. My car got stolen. We found it. Oh my God, it's been a crazy. Yeah, somebody stole it in D.C. and then somebody found it in a parking lot with the car running in Maryland in a Walmart. So we got the car back, but all that was left in the car really was just a pair of pants, which just sends great vibes your way. Like you just know something great happened in that car.
It could be.
I tried to put the pants on; they don't fit me, but we'll see what happens. I might lose some weight.
Try it on Jimmy.
Oh man, dude! I know when we go fishing, we're gonna have some laughs.
That's for sure, brother. Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt about that.
If you got anything else you want to say to your listeners, or
no. First of all, thank you for inviting me. But
no problem.
One thing, I'm doing this is something that's up your alley, which you're gonna come down to. Maybe you'll film this too. We can do a little thing. We my Barrier Island Beach Brawl tournament. I'm doing my second annual this year. And it was an idea I had last year because growing up in Lavalette and Island Beach and stuff, like all the old school guys used to see it, like Betty and Nick's and all those guys, and like Ernie's Bait and Tackle. Like there was always like this camaraderie, and I just felt. I mean, you may notice this or not. I'm not sure, but like it just seems like everyone's becoming more distant towards each other and more
competitive between Grumpy's and Betty and Nick's. And do you remember Brackman's Bait and Tackle?
Dude, I just was hanging with Wade 3 nights ago.
Man, I as a child put more snapper blues and blue claw crabs into their tank in the window than any child.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing, right?
Seriously, puffer fish, everything I caught off that dock at the end of whatever street that is. I just ride my bike with the bucket back to Brackman's and be like, "Can I please put it in the tank?"
I'm gonna tell him that, dude. Next time I see him,
it kills me. That place is closed. That is like in the history of my life my favorite bait shop ever.
Oh, so salty. I mean, it's
so salty. Polaroids all over the walls.
They're still up there, man.
They're still in there. Could you get me in there to photograph it?
There's we call it Tackle right now. It's like our little bar. Since all the bars are closed, we go meet up at Tackle. Dude. That's what we call it. Yeah.
Dude, I will drive up to Tackle tonight, like after we get off the phone.
We're gonna be in touch on that one. That's for sure.
Definitely. After we do a fishing session with BFC and Saltwater Underground, we'll go film a little segment over at Brackman's, bro. I might cry, honestly. Those were like the best times of my life. Like for September 11th, for everything, all that shit. That was Brackman's is like, oh my God, I could go on and on.
That's the whole point of just how you just said it right there. That's what I want to instill again with the Barrier Island Beach Brawl. So last year we had 190 people participate in it, and it's just a communal surf fishing event. There's cash prizes, but I don't publish the amount of cash, but it's enough for a surf fishing tournament, trust me. And last year I gave away $15,000 worth of stuff for free.
Wow.
I mean, you didn't even have to catch a fish. Everybody went home with it. It's a $40 entry, right? And everybody went home in the grab bag that you get with at least $40 worth of stuff, meaning Spro bucktails, Gamakatsu hooks, TA clips. And because I want to have a tournament again where people just enjoy fishing, and like are out there just to enjoy the camaraderie and meet new friends and stuff. So anyway, that's going to be October 2nd and 3rd.
October
or
2nd
Columbus
and
Day.
3rd. Is that, and that's on Island Beach, or where is that?
You could fish anywhere from Manasquan Inlet South Jetty to Barnegat Inlet North Jetty. And
so the guys with the cars, though, they get a little bit of a upper hand, don't they?
you might be able to say that, but the cool thing is this isn't just a striped bass and bluefish tournament.
There's so many categories.
There's 3 categories to it. There's a bass category. It's all release. There's no catch and kill for the bass.
Yep.
And you guys,
love it.
Anyone who checks it out can check it out. But then there's exotic species category, which is like Spanish Max, Little Tony, Sheep's Head, Red Drum, and stuff. And then there's like the locals delight, which is like fluke, blackfish, weak fish, and bluefish. So you can catch basically anything and win something, and win serious money too. You know what I mean? So
well, that sounds great.
Cool,
we're gonna launch this episode hopefully tonight, latest tomorrow. So hopefully people will check that out. I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna try to bring a little BFC crew to represent. Maybe take the title. Maybe take that fucking Bergal title from you.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You never know.
Good luck with that.
But Nick, thank you so much for joining us on episode 23 of the BFC podcast. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure our listeners do as well.
Oh, it's my honor. Thanks a lot, Victor. I appreciate everything, my brother. I'll be fishing with you soon.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. Talk to you later.
Thanks, man.
Bye.